All right, so welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Dreamslayer Studios' Marvel Superheroes World War II campaign, In the Mouth of Madness. If you all haven't been watching the series on YouTube, we are partway into Campaign 2 of In the Shadow of Evil, and we have already had several episodes of this leg of the campaign already under our belt. I usually always try to give a nice little rundown to get everybody caught up. I'm going to be honest with everybody, my players especially. I think I told you guys I was running a little bit late just getting home today. So I'm going to be ad-libbing this intro this time. I didn't have a chance really to sit down and make some good solid notes from the last session before we got started tonight. But I did listen to the last bit of it again on my way home, so hopefully I'll catch most what we need to catch. But regardless, thank you, my players, and thank you for everybody out there watching on Twitch as we continue in the Mouth of Madness. And if you like what you see here, do please consider supporting us on Patreon and subscribing to us on YouTube as well. So over the last few episodes of In the Mouth of Madness, our little band of heroes have thwarted the assassination attempt on the life of inventor Howard Stark and a horde of futuristic robotic assassins. With the staff of Longinus and the Dropa Stones currently in hand, the team has decided to conduct a meeting of the minds between Stark, the King of Wakanda, and the Prince of Atlantis to decode the language on the Vibranium discs. On their way to Wakanda, the team decided to hand over the Spear of Destiny to the Ancient One in Kamar Taj, and attempted a shortcut through the Dark Force dimension, where they found themselves embroiled in a little side quest to assist the ruler of that realm, Oblivion, in a coup against the Slavic god of darkness, Chernobog, who was seeking to court Oblivion's oldest daughter, the cosmic entity known as Death. So at this point, the team had overpowered Chernobog and his puppets and were granted passage to Kamar Taj by Oblivion. And Bombshell was in the process of turning over the Spear of Destiny when we all discovered that Chernobog had actually possessed Bombshell and delivered the Spear of Destiny point first directly into the Ancient One.
I would like to point out that there is no precedent for that event whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Not this week.
Not this week. So our heroes ended up having to face off against one of their own, yet again, and surprisingly the same one that they've had to face off with on a couple of other occasions, and successfully separated Bombshell from the control of Chernobog. During the process of this particular meeting, a new player, both literally and figuratively, came into our reality. The cyborg-looking individual known as Priest. And after the battle, the team kind of learned quite a bit about where Priest actually came from, which seems to be some sort of alternate future that may have begun from some of the processes that our very team have been a part of or will be a part of in the very near future. So Priest, kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, you had taken a moment and had a bit of a premonition of perhaps things to come. And if I remember correctly, you witnessed the Dropa Stones floating in midair and a collection of other items that were being pieced together to create a larger mechanism. And once the mechanism was pulled together, you saw Howard Stark, and you saw a mirror version of Howard Stark as a portal opened in front of you. So I think that is about where we left off. I do not believe that you and the rest of the team actually had an opportunity to discuss that that particular vision.
No, we didn't.
We spent
I think that what they were able to see was my eyes kind of go back in my head and the whites of my eyes basically showing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if there's any other telltale sign beyond that I'm having an episode of that nature.
So I would say, Johnny, if you wouldn't mind maybe just making a quick intuition for us.
Sure.
maybe Will too, since he's a telepath.
Yeah, I
don't
was
know
thinking
if-
that too. Yeah.
I can do
that. He's still reeling from
Still reeling.
perhaps destroying the realm. So
The guilt,
fine.
that guilt sandwich has really filled him up.
just intuition.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So both of you guys do at least notice that something is happening to Priest. Everybody kind of notices that because it's pretty
great.
blatant.
Is he possessed now? Are we gonna have to beat him up too?
Priest says, "No, I'm not possessed currently. This is a vision."
That's what a possessed person would say.
He's looking left and right as he's watching the vision in his head as you're talking to him. And he begins basically revealing to y'all the information that has been revealed to him, that the stones, which when he describes them, he doesn't know them by their name, but you probably recognize the description that he gives pretty easily. He talks about seeing the Howard Stark and the duplicate in the mechanism, and also seeing other people, which include you guys, and as he describes other individuals, people who are not here currently where we are, but you've basically adventured with in the past. So that's what he relays essentially.
And I think one thing perhaps I neglected to mention as we were kind of closing out last session is kind of the surroundings in which this was actually occurring. And it was really kind of hard for you to make out, but the surroundings that you're able to discern gives you kind of a feeling of a laboratory of some sort, but a technical laboratory, and technology that is somewhat alien to you, but certainly alien to this particular time period.
Okay.
Weirdly, it looks both futuristic and archaic at the same time to you.
So,
Okay.
so I'm sorry. Did he say he was having a vision or no?
I did.
He did.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
did.
Do you, if you'll allow me, I can see it and then share it with the group.
He nods.
If you'll allow me entry, I won't force it.
He nods his head yes.
Okay. So, so Mr. Arcane will use the crown, which grants telepathy, right? And he will first link to, hopefully what's not a murder machine, and then share that, whatever priest will share with us. I think telepathy would let me do that.
And essentially in making that effort, I mean, you are able to kind of see essentially the same thing that I described, to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make while you are doing that, make an intuition roll as well, just to maybe pick anything else out.
Okay. Just wanted to see what telepathy said. Yeah, I mean, I think that.
Probably a psyche feat roll. It's usually
Okay.
with that stuff.
So intuition or psyche, or what do you want me to? I'm sorry.
Intuition. I'm going to give you the
Okay.
telepathy thing. But,
Okay.
Just yeah.
Okay. I'll spend karma on this one.
Okay.
Oh,
Yay.
hey! What?
Whoa.
So you do get a
Yeah.
clear view of everyone that is present in this particular room.
Mhm.
And as I mentioned, the technology that is in this particular room is stuff that you certainly do not recognize. It
Mhm.
seems to be advanced technology for the 1940s, for sure.
Okay.
But you do pick up on a few other little distinct aspects that perhaps were looked over by priests just from the influx of information.
Okay.
There seems to be banners, tapestries that are hanging in the distance on the walls in this particular room
Okay.
that appear to be like multicolored. They could be
Yeah.
hanging rugs, something of
Yeah.
that sort with different kind of patterns in them
Um,
that are kind of
My
unrecognizable.
thing is,
Oh, hang on one sec. Sorry.
can you see now?
Okay. In addition to that, he mentioned a few individuals that he saw in the room and kind of described, some other folks perhaps that you have had adventures with before. But these figures all are kind of in and out of flux, and those of you that are here in this room perhaps as well in and out of flux. And they're there, but they're maybe not there. And it's hard to kind of tell. There are a few other figures in the room as well that you don't recognize. And then two that you kind of recognize just by word of mouth or reputation. And those two individuals are Namor the Sub-mariner and Black Panther.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I, broadcast that or share it out to the group as I can. So this is, what do the rest of you think about that?
So we're about to walk into that, is what it seems like to me.
Seems that way.
These visions.
This sounds like the
always-
meeting we're supposed to be having, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do I think of that? I think it makes me happy that we got that safe deposit box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about the safety deposit box. Yeah. Did
Which one was that? Just like
I don't remember.
Did we actually take it there, or was that? Just
I don't
part
think
of the
we've.
plan?
That's our plan.
Yeah,
I don't think we've
there's a-
left the room yet.
Okay.
well,
I
Will
think there was a
can-
discussion, but I don't
No,
believe
I think Will
we
did. I think he did actually.
did we?
Oh.
Will,
And maybe I
no,
trailed along astrally. Does that sound right?
That is
I
correct.
didn't know.
That was
Will-
the plan.
Will went there and got a hotel room. And when the bank opened in the morning, because it was
Oh,
definitely
yes, that's
not
right.
awake at the
Right.
time, I took it over first thing.
Because
Okay.
it was
Yeah,
stupid
'cause we're
o'clock
in-
when we were having the conversation.
Correct.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Will got the hotel room because he didn't want to bring it back around Shelley.
Just wanted to, make sure you had the right one. It's not a fake and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, you can tell by the way it slides into my ribs when you stab me. Oh, sorry,
Too
Mr.
soon.
Arcane. Too soon?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the realm's in imminent danger, but it's fine. It's my
One-
fault.
Is he gonna be okay?
If you can't laugh at imminent cosmic destruction, what can you laugh at?
Yeah.
Priest does mention that these visions aren't always exactly as they're seen. They're not always 100% accurate, and that's worth taking into consideration and mentioning.
So the future's not set in stone is kind of what you're getting at? Is
Yeah.
that the deal? Okay, cool.
Oh, it's like
So-
that Christmas thing. Is this what must be, or is this what may be? You know, with the old guy.
Right.
But
Is
it's
this
still good to
normal
be
for you?
prepared for.
Man, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
Now, when was that written?
Oh, he's,
Uh,
yeah, he's
18
well within. Yeah.
1848, and it had been adapted about 12 gazillion times
Yes.
before
Okay. Cool.
World War II.
And if we're talking about It's a Wonderful Life as well, because
No.
that's kind of that.
Hmm.
That just came out in 1946. So
Well, that's in the future.
That's in the
Yeah,
future.
that's a couple years still.
I thought we were past that. Okay,
Now
never
we're in
mind.
43,
We're
44.
like
No,
44,
we're
I think, right?
yeah, still World War II.
Gotcha.
So are these
Okay.
visions normal? Is this something that happens to you? Premonitions, I understand, are a thing.
I have some premonitions that are more immediate, and those tend to be very accurate. Say you're beginning to get into combat. I'm not sure what causes it, adrenaline rush, what have you. These longer visions, they're much more unpredictable. I haven't had them as regularly, so it's normal in the sense that I know that I can have them, but not
Okay.
normal in the sense that I can have them intentionally.
Okay, so as an aside, Chris, so when I used telepathy to connect to his mind, it seemed like a living mind, like a real brain,
Yeah.
like a not some sort of
He's a real
machine.
boy.
Okay. All right.
Not a toaster oven.
Checking. Just no reason. Just
Putting it out there.
Okay. Well, then it sounds like we have a meeting with Destiny.
No, with Namor and this Black Panther guy.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yes.
We are all going to die.
Someone's got to keep everything, organized and on track here.
Yes. That's what I often look to you for. Yes.
Shelly
Hank.
just gives Hank a hug, side hug, just be like, doing so well.
Yeah.
It could have been much worse.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I get that it's not great and it's not a,
Yes.
it's not a barrel of monkeys or whatever, but he is gonna be okay. Right? That's what they said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not on speaking terms, I don't think, right now. I and the rest of the.
Should I go and apologize in person?
Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Not right yet. No.
They will get over it. And you feel the presence of the Ancient One now in the room, here in the center of the room, as his astral form takes form.
Oh no, he's a ghost! I killed him!
No,
Look, there's no gaping.
I am not dead.
Yeah, there's no gaping. There's no gaping wound. He's okay.
Okay.
I have come, Henry, to alleviate any guilt that might be upon you, and to you as well, Shelley. What has happened here in the last few hours is merely a part of a whole. It is part of your destiny.
Well, I promise I'm going to work on this. And if I have anything to say about it, there's not going to be any way anybody's getting in my head ever again in the future. I'm not even kidding. This is like the 4th time somebody's used me to attack my friends. And I am sick of it.
It's my fault, Master. I should have seen this coming.
You have been confronted by an elder god of the universe. And your companion, Shelley, was possessed by what would be considered a lesser god. So it is understandable that perhaps this might have, how do you say, gone under your radar.
Well, that. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Just
So it'll be irritating and frustrating and invasive, but I can probably teach everyone how to not let that happen quite as easily.
good. No, we're gonna start doing that.
You say that now. You might rethink it.
You ever take ballet?
I was sick that day, so
Thank you, Master.
You'd be surprised about determination.
But I will tell you now, you, all of you here, stand at a crossroads. Time is a fickle thing, and it does not always move in a linear path. I sense among you here a new presence. And this new presence is not from our timeline. But he may be.
Depending on what happens. Right? Or am I not following?
You are following me correctly.
Okay.
But every step that you take now, from this point forward, you are determining whatever future comes. And I cannot tell you whether the actions that you will make will be the correct ones or not, for the future that you desire. And the future that you desire may be different than the one that the newcomer here may be familiar with, and that may be a good thing. But the future from which he comes from may also be the future that is meant to be.
Well, it doesn't sound great, though. Sounds awful.
It does.
I'm
But
not real.
perhaps that is the path that we walk.
I'm not really great on meant to be.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Is there a path and like different crazy stuff can make the future go off that path, or is it just anything goes?
That's crazy talk.
Certainly, some of you would have heard of the theory of the butterfly's wings.
Yeah, chaos theory.
Yes.
Now I have to look that up. Hold on one sec.
Hang on, because that hasn't been founded yet. If not, you just invented it.
But the mere
It's not a
presence
mathematician.
of this time traveler that is now in our presence here has already set things in motion that were not meant to be. So we are already on another path. We are already creating a new future. But is this the future that...
Not till the 60s.
not to the 60s.
Yeah.
That the priest believes will come true, or is it a future that he is wishing to prevent? There's no way for us to know. But I can tell you now, from the energies that I see swirling through time, this is where you are all meant to be.
Well, you would certainly know.
A hut in Tibet is where we're meant to be.
I'm sorry, this is a yurt.
Oh, I'm sorry, a yurt in Tibet.
Huts have solid walls.
I am sure that is information that will continue to be useful to me as we're fighting Hitler.
Well,
You
yeah,
never know.
because you know, if you want to hit him with a hut, not a yurt, because a yurt will just collapse around him.
I prefer to hit him with a tank, actually.
That seems reasonable.
He just shakes his head. This is... So, we will tread carefully. No more mistakes.
I hope you get better soon. Sorry about the whole stabby thing.
I am in good hands. I shall recover.
Okay. If there's anything I can do, let me know.
I
Jacob's
kind
gonna
of
talk to
think
Mom,
you
Ricky.
think you've done enough, you know.
Ouch. I think
let's just kind of scoot here.
So I'm going to guess you guys don't want me to open a door, right?
Not really.
Well,
we
it
have to?
depends. How else are we going to get out of here and get to Wakanda? I mean, it's kind of a long trip. We might got to do some magic.
You have, like, we won passage, right? Like, we're allowed to do it now, right?
Sure.
Like, it's not supposed to be a big thing anymore? You can just do it?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, are these guys trustworthy? You know, because what I learned in school is that, the devil isn't really known for being honest, and those guys kind of looked like devils, so,
I think that Oblivion is trustworthy in that you can guarantee he will live up to his name.
I don't like that.
Is it really a surprise when someone named Oblivion tries to destroy you? I'm just saying.
No.
It's kind of refreshingly honest.
I mean,
from a certain point of view.
At this point, like, I will take any time that we can set aside for you to teach me how not to be a
skin puppet.
Yeah, whatever the heck you call it. I am so. Look, some of y'all haven't been with us all that long. Whitechapel.
So here's
my
the thing.
first day on the job.
Here's the thing. I haven't been with you that long, and I've seen you get possessed 3 times. So
okay, yeah.
There's a theme here for certain.
Yeah.
And I thought being a good person was enough.
No, that makes it worse.
You're a great person. That's not the issue.
I like the whole thing, having a pure heart and, keeping your intentions. No. I feel like maybe that makes it easier or something.
It does.
I don't like it.
Because
anyways,
if you have a pure heart, you're more trusting.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Gullible.
There we go.
I've been called that on occasion. By my mom.
By me.
Aren't we in an area where people can make portals?
I was thinking we could get, see if there's a plane.
The ancient one in his astro form chuckles a bit.
So not so much with the airplane. Gotcha.
So I think we might have to chance the portal thing again.
Yeah. Otherwise, we are in kind of a time crunch here, and it could take, even an airplane, it's going to take a couple of days to make all the connections and everything else, and will you get off my desk rocket?
Time crunch.
Okay, that's out of period. We are, we don't got a lot of time.
Well, is it? I didn't know. I was just thinking like that would be something that like Shelley would latch onto because it makes sense.
Can't these people make portals to other places?
Yeah, I think Spartan is right. We got to move quick, and unfortunately, that means jumping through the magic hoop.
Sir, speaking to the Ancient One, is it possible for you all to make a portal for us to walk through to our destination?
You get rid of us faster.
Well played.
I have done that for some of these folks on 2 occasions already. But I now sense that our good friend Will has undergone a minor transformation. And you all have broached the subject even here in my presence. You've gone through a trial, have you not, Will?
Yes.
And you have come out the other side, both literally and figuratively, have you not?
Yes.
Then trust in your newfound power.
Alrighty. So everybody stay on your toes, and this could get exciting. Let's do this. So where are we going? Spartan, you've been to where we're going before, right?
Yes.
Okay, I need you to picture it in your mind for me, and I am going to invade your brain.
Okay,
But just gently.
a place right outside the barrier.
Right
Just
outside
gently.
the barrier. Okay.
Just gently.
I will spend karma to make sure that it is as gentle and non-invasive as possible.
Meanwhile, Shelley's looking at the ancient one going, I'm really sorry.
He bows slightly to you as the portal opens.
Okay.
There we go.
So that just will cost me 10, right?
I think so, yeah. On the remarkable table. Actually, looks like 66 to get you up to yeah.
To yellow? Okay, so here's the part where I'm not doing math because it was a long day. 25, there we go.
Alright, so you open the portal, and it opens up here just behind where the Ancient One is standing in the center of the yurt. And do you let everyone else go through first, or are you going?
I think based on the way that he presented it to me, I should go through first.
Okay.
And just hold it as people come through.
All right, so you pass through the portal, and as he does, you all see him go through, and you can actually see into the Dark Force dimension from this standpoint outside of the portal. So you see him walk through. He's in. You see the tower, the Dark Tower, in the background, kind of spewing out the Dark Force energy. And so does everybody else start to filter through?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not going first
I'll go.
because there'll be an entity on the other side waiting to possess me if I go first.
Now just checking.
I'll go first. If there's something on the other side, I'll punch it.
When Will steps through, does like the second his leg go through, like he starts to change into the fiend form?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, changing back to fiend. Yes.
Yeah. And I am, of course, leaping before I look.
On brand.
Now, you had asked Spartan to kind of think of a place that you guys could go, correct?
Correct.
So once everybody steps through and ends up on the other side in the Dark Force dimension, you just instinctively latch on to that thought of the image that she is creating in her mind And this happens almost like without you really even thinking about it. All of a sudden, you latch to that, and what everybody sees is the observatory, at the top of the tower that is shooting out the energy. The observatory, top of the observatory, moves counterclockwise and points in a different direction, and then all of you are sucked into the portal that you just walked out of, sucked backwards, and are shot through the energy that is coming out of the observatory and plumped down in a very humid and wet jungle type atmosphere at the base of a small waterfall, and it looks like there is kind of a stone pathway that kind of cuts into this little stream that is coming out of the area where the waterfall is falling. And just ahead of you, you can see there's like a little bit of a cave that goes off through the bottom portion of the waterfall. Now, Spartan, you know where you are, and you know that this is one of the gateways into Wakanda, and all they have to do is step through the waterfall.
Cool.
And not get shot.
And not get shot.
So maybe Spartan first.
Yeah. So I tell everyone to follow me, and I go into the waterfall. Or through the waterfall.
Which I imagine feels wonderful,
Oh, yeah.
given the humidity and everything.
And now I'm even more damp. Okay.
Well, as you guys then pass through the waterfall, something rather almost feels like magical happens, but those of you that know what magic is, this is not magic. As soon as you walk through that waterfall, you find yourselves in a large field filled with fruit-bearing trees as you go through that waterfall. And as you look behind you, the waterfall's not there anymore. And you expected to be damp and wet. You are not damp and wet.
Oh.
Huh.
A hologram.
And Wakanda, you now kind of see off in the distance in front of you. And it's covered in the veil of advanced technology created by scientists and engineers of the country. And the presence here is completely out of place in its surroundings. And Wakanda is the most technologically advanced city on Earth. And there are skyscrapers that rival anything that you've ever seen in New York City, Chicago, Paris, London. And the appearance of the architecture is distinctly unique to Wakanda. There's almost no hard lines to the buildings, and they seem to go on further than they appear with the sleek curvature of their designs. It is.
This is I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a civilization that's progressed without influence from the outside world in any way. The archaeological significance of this is incredible.
And no one knows it's here. They just fly over it and see goat farmers.
Who flies over Central Africa anyway?
I don't know.
Well, maybe
not a lot of people, probably.
Maybe the
Wow.
Dutch.
But yeah, they do well. It was good to be home.
So wait, I have questions. I have so many questions. Hold on, let me get a book. Okay. Now.
Huh. Shelly's just looking at the buildings like, they're funny shaped. I like them.
We
Doesn't
don't
have
see
all the...
people yet, do we?
Not
lead them
at this point.
onward.
You lead them onward? Okay, so Spartan kind of takes the lead and leads you all down this almost like kind of golden cobblestone path that
The
leads
yellow brick road.
Yellow brick road leads you up towards the gates that you see ahead. They're very, very tall gates that have kind of almost like they're from a distance they look almost ebony, but as the sun kind of glints off of them, they have just kind of a very slight kind of purplish glow. There's a type of wood that I think, if I remember right, it's called like purple heart or something like that. I don't know if you guys have heard of anything like that, but it's a very deep, dark purple wood. So it's kind of a combination of like ebony and this purple heart. There are two very large Black Panther statues that stand on either side of this large gate. And as you guys are making your approach, the gate slowly creaks open, and there are several women, tall, ebony-skinned, and bald, dressed in red, that are all carrying spears that are very similar to the spear that Spartan actually has been carrying.
Yeah. I'm trying to look non-threatening, which means probably going back to human form.
All right.
I smiled at the guards and called them by name.
The one in front, Taka is her name, walks towards you, and she gives the Wakandan salute.
Give back.
And I forget, does Spartan have a Wakandan name, or did we come up with that? I don't know if we
I
ever talked
do
about that.
not think we ever came up with the Wakanda name.
I think that Taka, is going to have a little nickname for you, though. Okay?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And she says, well, if it isn't a little ghost.
And about friends with me.
It has been some time since you have crossed these borders.
I just sort of wave, kind of high. Yeah, we're her friends. We're with her.
And
Will
she
does what Will
ignores you.
does
Yeah.
and tries to make eye contact with any of the girls in Flirt and fails.
All of their attention is pretty much on Spartan, but you can tell that they've got a little bit of a peripheral vision that is very acutely attuned on the rest of you all.
Just kind of leans over to Tank. They're just distracted. That's all.
Yeah. Even Tank is not going to try to pick up, girls with spears who are clearly the guardians of an extremely advanced society.
I mean, after I hit on the werewolf, everything else seemed like it was a good idea.
No comments. He's the smart one, folks. He's the smart one.
Taka continues with Spartan. It has been some time since you have crossed these borders.
Yes.
I hope the external world has been treating you well.
It's a mess out there.
The others that you had been traveling with have already crossed into our borders.
Okay.
The Frenchman that brought them in is rather obnoxious.
Yeah.
But we have given them somewhere to rest as they await your arrival. Come, you will follow us, your friends as well.
Pussy. Out.
Okay.
So, the Dora Milaje have been kind of standing in like a V formation with Taka at the front, and Taka begins to walk through them as they basically make two parallel lines. There's about 10 of them in total, not including Taka. And as she walks through, she's expecting for the rest of you to follow, and the Dora Milaje begin to kind of close ranks behind you, kind of forming that V formation around you as you guys progress into Wakanda.
I mean, naturally follow. You don't want to disappoint a beautiful woman.
The Dora Milaje walk you into the city, and here you're able to really take it in for really what it is. These are a lot of towering buildings, and made out of both wood and metal. And they're, as I had said before, like in the laboratory, there's a certain archaic quality to what you're seeing, but also something that is highly advanced as well. It's really hard to kind of put a finger on to kind of describe it. Certainly is tribal, and the colors of this place really pop. And you can kind of see as you guys are kind of walking through, just off in the distance, some of the taller buildings. There are patches that are specifically one particular kind of tone or hue of colors in one direction, and in another direction a completely different set of colors, but they're all kind of congruent with one another in these individual patches. But they begin walking you into the center of the city. And
Shelly's in hardcore tourist mode. She's like, oh, look at that. Just like checking all the colors and stuff. She's used to New York and New Jersey where everything is gray, and it's either green, natural, or concrete.
Hey, New York has the greatest freaking skyline in the world, and don't let anyone tell you different. I mean,
there's a lot of neon and stuff. The past was not black and white, just the pictures were. But yeah, I suspect even so that it is so.
No, everybody knows the past is sepia colored.
Yes.
That's how you know we're in the past.
Yeah,
it's something to do with the redshift.
Yeah.
I think the priest is probably pretty shaken. He's never seen buildings that are, complete. Everything he's ever seen has been broken down into ruins and debris. So this is really awkward for him.
The Dora Milaje they're all very tall, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelly's not used to seeing girls her height. She's just like,
right.
She's just like, huh. She feels really bad that somebody made them cut their hair off, though. That's upsetting.
On the looks that you're giving the Dora Milaje actually kind of pale in comparison to the looks that you all are getting as you are walking through these streets.
They don't see a lot of our type.
Public faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the citizens here of Wakanda, as you have noted the different types of like color palettes that you're seeing off in the distance and in the individual sectors of the city, you see these individuals that are dressed in very similar kind of color palettes to the actual architecture of the city as well. So it's easy to kind of put together that these individuals are probably members of certain aspects of tribes and so forth here within Wakanda, and the colors represent, the tribes that they belong to. And it takes maybe about 7 to 10 minutes to get into the central part of Wakanda. And as you are approaching, you see a large building that has kind of a panther-like kind of look to it. I mean, if you think about like the Sphinx in Egypt, it's not as perhaps, blatant as that, but just the basic form of this particular building, you can see basically that there are like two legs and then like haunches in the back and kind of what appears to almost be like a head-like like balcony area up at the top. And the thing probably stands probably about 20 stories tall. It's the largest building here.
Wow.
And it has a kind of a gleaming black metallic surface to it as well, so it certainly stands out here in the sun. The Dora Milaje begin to walk up the steps. Taka is at the lead, and as you guys follow, she turns, and the Dora Milaje kind of form a line behind her, kind of perpendicular to where you guys are coming up. And she says, "This is the palace of King Azzuri. We ask, kindly, that if you are carrying any weapons, that you place them in the hands of my sisters, the Dora Milaje."
I hand over my spear and I find number of knives on my person.
It's like disarming Germany.
That's easy.
I hand over my service revolver and combat knife.
Shelly will take the sword, with a scabbard off of her back and be like, "This isn't mine. This belongs to somebody important. So be careful."
They bow as they accept it from you.
Please,
Well,
I
sir,
don't
I
think she
have,
has any other
I have no
weapons.
weapons that are unintegrated into me. I'm sorry, I'm not able to hand them over directly.
We'll make sure he behaves.
That sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, no, don't have anything on me. Feel free to frisk me if you want. Please.
I carry no weapons.
All right. Taka says, "Your weapons will be kept just inside these doors. They will be safe. The Dora Milaje will guard them with their lives. Since you, sir, the one with the cross, are unable to turn over your weapons, you will be escorted in by two of my sisters."
That makes sense.
And then she begins now to walk you into the palace, which is decked out in purples and golds, tapestries everywhere.
Again, she's just gaga over the colors.
Yeah.
Shelly's just like, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful."
The panther motif is running wild in here with lots of statues of different sizes. There are murals painted on the walls. Everything is gilded in gold.
It's weird because the worship of Bast is way further north of here in Egypt, but it seems like a lot of the iconography made it down. Don't understand how that kind of cross-cultural pollination could have occurred without there being some sort of trade, but it's clear that this is not anything associated with Egypt at all. There's no Muslim architecture at all. Will just keeps rambling on about his observations.
While he's doing that, I'm kind of looking around to see if there's anything that looks kind of like a food stand, like, the equivalent of a hot dog cart. I'm the physical guy. I've been fighting and throwing rocks and beating people up. I need something to eat.
We just fed you back
But-
in Kamar Taj. That's only one continent ago.
We fed you back at Kamar Taj, but it was all like leaves and bamboo
Yeah.
shoots.
There were
If you
certainly
don't stop barking, I'm turning this expedition around.
plenty of food carts and eateries on the way here, but if you attempted to get out of line at any point, the Dora Milaje made sure that you kept in step.
Yeah.
I whisper to one of the sisters to please bring food.
You will eat if the king decides it is time.
I just kind of shrug and say, figure. I don't say anything, but it's kind of like, yeah,
I mean, that's how it works, man.
yeah.
Okay.
You're waiting
You
to
know,
report to the colonel. Sometimes you gotta wait.
And
He's
absolutely-
the enlisted guy. He's used to waiting on the officers, however they may be defined in a given context.
Yep.
Okay, an absolute monarchy. That's an interesting social structure. Okay.
Is it possible for priests to kind of initiate an ongoing kind of X-ray vision thing using his coloration so that he can be keeping an eye out for in case there are any Terminators currently here?
Is he using
But if Wakanda's been
the-
infiltrated, we're in for it.
the coloration is what you're wanting to use?
Yeah, it allows him to have, he can change different energy into different things, so he can actually generate X-rays, essentially. So the idea would be his eyes are essentially able to kind of be X-raying things to see what's going on.
Okay. Make
Inside.
a roll on the remarkable column then.
Okay.
Okay, yellow. All right, so that will kind of give you at least a little bit of a heads up in case anything happens to appear. I will say, as you are walking through, so I mean, with the X-ray, I mean, is this like technically like X-ray vision for you?
I'm seeing it as sort of being that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, as you're walking through these hallways, if you have tried this before in your actual time, you know what it looks like. You know that you can normally see through at least the walls that are around you and so forth. In here, in some of the tighter corridors, as you guys are making your way through the palace, you are not able to see through these walls.
Okay.
And you see underneath basically what the walls are made out of, whether it be stone, whether it be metal, whatever the case may be. There's another layer underneath that, and it is like a honeycomb like mesh that is underneath. It's super thin,
Interesting.
but you can see through to that mesh, but that's it.
Okay. Cool. But as far as people, the average person, I can at least kind of see below their
Make
epidermis.
sure there's no robot parts underneath there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
So you guys are taken into a large, what appears to be like a conference room or meeting room of some sort, and you've been led up several series of steps, and you kind of come into this area that's almost kind of like a little bit of a balcony, but it's well underneath like the head of the panther, kind of in between the two front legs as you guys were coming up. There's a large window, segmented, that is like kind of dome shaped, that surrounds the front portion of this room, and the sun is cascading in. There's a large round table in the center of this, and seated at the far end, backlit by the sunlight that is coming in, is King Azzuri, dressed in a black skin tight suit that has what seems to be like a series of like metallic teeth around kind of the collar area. He wears a large cape that comes off of one shoulder that has what appears to be like a lion's head to it, but this whole thing has also been kind of dyed black with little purple accents as well. He is an incredibly attractive man, very clean cut, very short cropped hair. Looks to be maybe in his early 20s, but looks may be deceiving.
I give low bow.
Surrounding him, seated at the table, on the far end to his right, is a man that is dressed kind of strangely, basically wearing a pair of green swimming trunks, or actually almost like a Speedo, with a yellow belt with a shell on it, and that's all he's wearing. He's got pointy ears and very sharply cut hairdo that kind of comes up to almost like a platform on top. Opposite of him, you see Howard Stark, and Peggy is standing behind him. When you guys come in, the tension in the room is palpable.
I'm just thinking the Wakandans must be very advanced to have a room that can hold both of those egos.
Right?
That's why they had to reinforce it with Vibranium. Otherwise,
Oh,
boom!
yeah.
Will was just happy that Howard's not in a Speedo, too.
I don't know. I mean, Lily, Shelley's. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. There's a lot going on in here.
There's a lot going on here.
A lot happening right now.
So as you guys enter, the Dora Milaje make an announcement and basically state that the lone Spartan has returned with guests. And they request for you all to introduce yourselves as they present you to the king.
Who goes first? Do we roll initiative?
I bow.
Shelley is used to performing, so probably just puts herself in performer mode and just kind of goes up and does a little curtsy, totally out of place, completely not reading the room. I'm Shelley Ames, codename Bombshell, and I've been working with the Allied Armed Forces against Hitler, retrieving awful stuff so the bad guys don't get it.
I'm going to do my best to imitate Spartan's bow, or salute, since I figure she knows how you're supposed to act. And I'll say, I'm Corporal McDougal, U.S. Infantry. I guess I got a code name, the Human Tank, and I also like punching Nazis.
Priest steps forward and tries to emulate Spartan's bow as well. And just as Maynard Priest moves along.
The less said, the better about Priest. So many questions. So many questions. By the way, I'm from the future, and all of my weapons are
guys all
integrated.
died.
Look! Ah!
So I guess Hank will step forward like a couple of steps. Hello there. My name is Hank. I'm the consultant that they've hired. Yep. Yes.
You're here to proactively leverage our synergies.
I don't know what that means, but
I'm not sure.
but I'm here to help.
Does.
Hi, I'm Professor William Wagner, PhD, Columbia University. I'm a consultant for the United States Army in the current hostilities against the Germans. Impressive place you have here. Had no idea. And I have some questions, if that would be something that you could make someone available for later on, Your Majesty.
It is a pleasure to meet all of you. Your companions arrived last night. I understand from our little ghost that you had these particular items, and he motions to the discs that are laying on the table, in your possession, and left them with Mr. Stark and Miss Carter. For some reason could not think of that. Tell me, how did you come by these particular items?
Oh, there was a fellow who called himself the Lord of Death, I think, back in Romania. And he had taken up in a castle there and was doing some sort of awful ritual. And he had them all kind of arranged in like a semicircle arrangement, kind of set into the wall. I don't know if he knew what he was doing with them or not. I think he did, sort of.
Oh, I
Maybe
think
a
he
little.
did.
Yeah. We interrupted the ritual.
In the Castle of the Dragon.
Yes.
So
Right.
these discs came from a castle in Romania.
Well, that's
I'm
where
sure
we
they
found
didn't
them.
originate there, but yeah.
But this is where you found them.
That is where we found them. I think they're Atlantean.
You are correct. But they are made of the metal that commonly is found here in Wakanda, Vibranium. We have not taken much scrutiny in looking into these much further until you have arrived. But I can tell you that the vibration that these discs give off is of a different sound, a different frequency than what we are used to from Wakandan Vibranium. And Namor speaks up, and he says, well, you know you are not the only one that has access to Vibranium. It was the Atlanteans that first discovered it in the depths of the ocean a millennia ago. So we were the first to acquire the metal. But alas, when Atlantis fell, the deposit that we had access to fell further into the center of the earth. It is my belief, looking at the inscriptions on these discs, that they may have come from Atlantis before the fall. I have been able to translate the discs, at least the words that appear in the carvings. Now, Mr. Stark says that there are hidden messages within these carvings.
Like some kind of mechanism, right?
And Stark kind of speaks up. He says, well, it's kind of like little bitty, teeny tiny bits of wires and stuff like that. You might call it something that we've been kind of working on called like a microchip, but it's even smaller than that from what I can tell.
And now, Chris, they're not magical, right?
They are not
as
magical,
I recall.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Namor picks up one of the discs and he holds it in front of him and he says, "So it is written that from the stars we came, and to the stars we shall return. We have been given the gift of life, so that we may give life and return to the gates of heaven when the visitors hear our call once more. We are but one cog in the wheel that is the universe." Now, I must point out one particular thing that stands out in this translation. There's a portion of this where I spoke of the gates of heaven when the visitors hear our call once more. The visitors is a proper noun.
Is that any sort of occult? Like, is there any sort of, occult entity or like that is commonly associated with?
That particular phrasing?
Yeah, like that collection of visitor, gates of heaven, something like that. Is any of that like ring a bell for any of that, either with his scholar of antiquities or his occultist
You can
talent,
certainly make
any
a
of those?
roll on that. And I
Okay.
saw, Will, you made a roll as well?
Yeah.
Kind of along the same line, or?
Not on the occult side, more on the, does that kind of terminology, iconography, like any of that stuff show up in any other myth or legend that he can think of from any other indigenous culture?
Okay, so you got a green, Mr. Arcane got a yellow.
The only reason I rolled for Shelly is just to see if she was able to follow along at all.
Oh, okay.
And she's actually doing really well.
She's
in
there.
She's got it.
I wondered if you were trying to figure out if she knew what a proper noun was.
That was one roll, and the
Oh,
other one
come
was the
on.
Atlantis. What the heck
She's
is
got a
Atlantis?
typical. That's average.
She's a Depression era kid. She didn't go to school a lot.
So, Mr. Arcane,
average.
in answer to kind of your portion of that question, this doesn't really ring any bells to anything particularly specific from any particular culture or anything like that, and it doesn't really guide you in a direction of some sort of supernatural creature or anything like that. But you can suppose by him saying that the visitors was a proper noun, that perhaps he may be talking of something alien.
Sure.
And with that in mind, then Will, you kind of pick up on that as well. This particular bit of dialogue, again, doesn't necessarily ring true with anything specific that you have heard, but in the reference of the gates of heaven when the visitors hear our call once more, kind of reminds you a lot of stuff that you have heard from multiple cultures, such as Aztec cultures, Egyptian, Celtic, and the like, where there has been recent speculation that some of the glyphs and hieroglyphs that people were carving on caves and in tombs and stuff like that might actually be pointing not towards gods but towards alien visitation.
That would sound crazy if, all of this. I share that with the group. So basically, to sum up, what I'm trying to say is aliens.
And that's where Shelley's brain stops working.
Well, I mean, certainly other planar beings, right? Visitors from somewhere else. Like
After
visitors, proper noun, a different people.
yeah, after mummies
In the
and
40s.
demons and other dimensions, if you say there's little green men from Mars, I'm just gonna believe it.
Trying to think if has there been talk of like well, you just said there's some talk about aliens and like
I think
outer space
within
aliens.
your occult circles and the studies of ancient texts and hieroglyphs and so forth. So there are certain drawings that are inexplicable, and some speculate. They're literally drawing the gods that they believe that they saw, such as say Ra, which we now know is out there. Is he a god or what is he? But he's out there. Or Horus, sorry. So we know that's...
And if Horus is out there,
Out
then
there.
probably Ra and Isis and the rest of them.
Well, I think Mr. Arcane would think these are still like extraplanar beings, not like space aliens. That's how he would frame it, right? That's how it would make sense to him. So
And that would make sense to most in your circles, in the occult circles, for sure. Yeah.
So perhaps it's talking about extraplanar beings, right? I mean, we've certainly had run-ins, and he motions to the group with beings from other realities, and I mean, I know that to be plain fact.
Is
Well
that
traveled.
Gates
even.
of Heaven thing? Is that a proper noun too?
I
Like,
don't.
is that like a known thing, or is that a what do they call it? Metaphor? Yeah, metaphor.
I mean, so I don't know of a specific one, right? But I mean, Gates of Heaven is certainly common enough
I
symbology,
mean, is it talking
right?
about heaven?
And Namor.
In the text, is it a proper noun? Is it, capital G, capital H?
Right. Namor says that in the Christian religion, one would expect heaven to be capitalized. A proper noun, yet again. In my reading of this, it does not appear to be. Neither the gates nor heaven appear to be capitalized.
So it means that...
Not for nothing, but how old are these tablets?
Well, if it was prior to the fall of Atlantis, well over 2,000 years.
So it predates Christianity.
Yes.
Does your Atlantean culture speak of having any run-ins with beings from the stars? Yes, Prince Namor.
In the Atlantean culture, beings from the stars? Not exactly. But we have encountered things that we cannot explain.
I've been doing that a lot lately.
That most would describe as alien. But if you were to see my people, you would likely describe us as alien.
Well, pointy ears, physically, like, impressive, right? He's Namor, so the winged ankles. Can we see his feet? I guess we can see his
you
feet,
would
right?
see
We
his
can see
feet.
that.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I mean,
what I possess is not what the rest of my people look like. I am different. I am more like you, which is why I can walk here on land amongst the air breathers.
okay.
But my brethren are of a different color.
Okay. What do they look like?
They are blue.
Oh, blue. Well, ocean, sure.
I was afraid it was going
Do
to be
they
a
also
revert.
have pointy ears?
Some do.
See. Well, I mean, it sounds very fey, right?
Maybe some of the legends were based on people.
Like from the Norse myths, the
maybe.
Alfheim, the
Yeah.
We are not connected to the Vikings.
Oh, but they might have
no,
run into
I
and thought.
I wouldn't imagine.
The iconography is wrong.
Primitive bastards.
Or that.
So what are we doing here other than reading old tablets?
Well, it seems to me they were talking about when the visitors receive our call, they will come back from the gates of heaven, right?
That's
Wasn't
correct.
the Lord of Death attempting to perform some sort of ritual that looked like it was making some sort of call?
It did look as though that was something that might have been powering the energies that he was attempting to call forth something.
Is it possible that tapping into the energies that way could have inadvertently sent a call to whatever's on the other end of the line?
And Howard speaks up. He says, well, in my opinion, I think that's what those little bits of wires and copper are inside those inscriptions. That is the quote-unquote magic that powers these things.
Right, well, I can assure you there is no actual mystic force here.
And now you said these things were floating in midair, right?
Most definitely.
All right, well, I've been trying to get these things to float. They don't seem to be like magnetic or anything like that. At least not with any power running to them. King Azzuri here has been kind enough to offer me access to one of his laboratories here. Not in the palace, but not far from here. He's got a set of labs that he's got people working on some stuff for him. It may take me some time, and it may take some of the other Wakandan scientists working in tandem with me, but I want to try to figure out whatever I can about these things. Because something tells me that there's more to it than just these things. And especially with what the King of Atlantis over here has translated. It's got my dander up. So it is written, from the stars we came, and to the stars we shall return. And that, to me, certainly sounds like, space travel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
even I can figure that
could
out.
be a
Yeah.
metaphor. It could be,
We are but one cog in the wheel that is the universe. It's
Now,
that
the
phrase right there that is getting me more than anything.
There but one cog in the wheel that is the universe.
Look, I have trouble with 17 down, 4-letter word for meal.
In
Meal. Huh.
in Buddhism, the concept of the universe being on a turning wheel is a big part of their belief system. But this is lacking any kind of connection with that. It's just weird that it's coming up that way.
And Namor
Cog on the wheel.
says to you, that's where you are wrong. It is connected. Buddhism is certainly connected in some way to these stones. This is ancient Atlantean.
And ancient Atlantis is connected with Buddhism?
It is
Yeah.
indeed.
I
It
thought
is connected to nearly every thought of religion that has spread across this world. Atlantis was one of the earliest civilizations. And we have
I
influenced...
thought it was Greek.
Okay, so interesting. Now, the earliest mention of Atlantis is from Greek writings from Plato, if I remember correctly, but it's describing a civilization that existed far prior to the Hellenistic period. And if these things are 2,000 years old, and they
older still.
older than 2,000 years old, Atlantis would have been at its height around the second or third dynasty in Egypt. We're talking 5,000-6,000 years ago, at a minimum. Is that accurate, Mr. Namor?
You speak truth.
Interesting. And if these are talking about coming from the stars, could Atlantis have... So Atlantis, I know very little about because it's myth and legend in the academic community. But what stories I have read, maybe you can expand on a bit. Atlantis was supposed to be an incredibly advanced civilization prior to its fall. Like, possibly on par or beyond what we've achieved currently, right?
Correct.
Is it possible, knowing what we know, that Atlantis is either a civilization of time travelers or maybe extraterrestrial beings? Could they have come from the future or another planet, rather than just have had one isolated area of incredible technological advance while the rest of the world was in either the late Stone or early Bronze Age?
You are correct in connecting what humanity knows of Atlantis to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Plato, through his dialogues Timaeus and Critias.
Hank's eyes are kind of glazing over about now.
I'm just impressed I remembered it was Plato who actually wrote it.
Shelley's just like completely glazed over.
I mean, I understood Atlantis was a magical place. I understood that there was... I mean, I certainly know that magic of Atlantis exists today. I don't practice it, but I understand that it exists.
We have mages among our ranks in current Atlantis. And what they practice certainly appears to the naked eye as what one would refer to as magic. But in the civilization that existed 9,000 years before Plato's time, technology was magic.
Let's be honest, in certain parts of the world, technology is still magic.
Indeed. So, is magic...
Magic is magic. Technology is technology. I mean, just saying.
But
Different things.
you can work magic with technology. Is that an untrue statement?
Can't work magic with... No, you cannot work. No. Not with technology, no.
I don't know. Technology can make a man fly. That sounds pretty magical.
I mean, you're using it as a metaphor. I'm using it as a source of power that flows through us, through the universe, through different dimensional beings. That's different. Yes, an airplane flies, but it is not magical. But does it appear wondrous? Yes. Is it magical? No.
But what if there was no difference? What if science was magic and magic was science?
Who's saying that? Is that Namor or is that Tony or
Namor?
Howard?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see how that could be. Right. Mr. Arcane is stuck in his rut, right? He's like, no, that's not a thing. No.
Well, is it
electricity is a thing? Cool. I could make a lightning bolt, but I
like,
don't make electricity.
Tied to the soul? Isn't like, doesn't it need a soul or will or something to make it work?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what's that?
Shelly asked out loud, kind of in her weak way, trying to back you up. She's saying, doesn't it take like a soul or willpower, like to make magic work? Is that
it definitely requires will and discipline.
Does it? Couldn't somebody accidentally do something?
Not in my experience, no.
Like nobody's ever accidentally summoned something that they shouldn't have? Nobody's ever accidentally touched a relic and then had the thing inside of it jump into them?
Well, that's possession, which is different.
That sounds like magic.
That is being possessed by a different entity. I don't...
I'm neither an engineer nor a wizard. But my extensive liberal arts education tells me that closing the book on things that we don't necessarily understand isn't the way to do it. And he seems to have information we don't.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying he doesn't know something we don't know. I'm just...
From what I'm saying, what I've seen, magic is something you got to read a lot of books for. And if it's like, I'm not a wizard or a liberal arts whatever guy, but it's like, if it's like science, I mean, you can't make a car engine by accident, so can you do... It makes sense that you couldn't magic by accident.
So if you think about it, the first time somebody made gunpowder, it was by accident. The first time somebody created fermented beer, it was by accident. The first time a lot of things were done in science, it was an accident.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same for spells. I don't know how the first person who figured out how to do your flying thing or your shield thing or whatever came up with it. I don't. But I strongly suspect they didn't have an instruction book.
Well, I don't either. I don't know who the first... well, I know who some of the earliest sorcerers were, but regardless, I'm not sure. I think we need to get back on task here.
Yeah, you're right.
This is waxing philosophical, which I'm certainly willing to discuss, but I don't know that that's helpful here.
No, I apologize. The dangers of tenure.
Well, Azzuri steps forward and he says, "You speak the truth. I will have my Dora Milaje take you to somewhere where you can sup and rest for the evening. I, Namor, Mr. Stark, will contemplate these stones into the wee hours of the morning. You are my guests for now, and we will work together to discern the purpose of these stones. But for now, rest and die."
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Go.
Okay.
The Dora Milaje kind of gather around you. There's 3 of them in here right now. They kind of gather around you and then gently kind of escort you back the way that you came, back down the steps and to the area where they have kept your weaponry and so forth. And just as they said, everything that is still there. They give it back to you. It's exactly the same as you left it. And they begin to walk you back into the city proper. Really just a stone's throw away. They bring you to a building that's maybe about 4 stories tall. And it has several beautiful suites inside. And each of the rooms have a balcony that overlooks Wakanda. And it's here where you can really see the true beauty of the country, where the ancient land is married perfectly to this advanced technology. The rooftop of this particular building contains a very spacious tavern where you can kill some time and relax, kick back a few drinks. They have food available there as well. And the Dora Milaje let you know it's probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point, but they let you know that the city is yours to explore as you wish. Just to be sure to return to your quarters here by 8 p.m. tonight.
Understood.
Is there a curfew or just?
There is for you.
Question.
Understood.
And it's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
8 p.m.
Are there? Okay.
I go visit my parents.
Okay.
But our only guide.
I just find it fascinating that Spartan is from somewhere. I mean,
Everyone's got to be from somewhere.
right,
Everyone's
but
from
like,
somewhere.
right, but like Spartan just seems like
She's an actual person.
right. Like it's not that her dad had a headache one day, so like the mom cut his head open, and then Spartan was just there with the spear and fully armored.
Speaking of armor,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Man,
Mm-hmm.
you and I and Hank have an appointment. So grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's do this.
I don't know what kind of weird thing you guys got going on. I mean, I approve. No, you. But I'm going to go over there.
No,
Have fun.
you were going to help me.
I think she means mental armor.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, that's different. That's fine then. Okay.
Well, it looks like I'm going to be kind of wandering around the city, probably souvenir shopping.
Unsupervised.
With what money?
Unless someone wants to come with me. I mean, I visited the completely secret land of Wakanda, and all I got was this Vibranium weave T-shirt.
Nice.
I think the future man should go.
I think the priest will come with you. He's
Probably-
he hasn't seen the city before, so
Someone definitely needs to keep Tank on a leash.
Look at all these people.
Okay, so Priest and Tank are exploring. Spartan
I'll be right back.
going to see Mom. Mr. Arcane, what are you doing real quick before you leave?
We're gonna Will and I are gonna help Shelly start trying to focus her will.
And you're both telepaths,
Okay.
so we can
Yes.
hit this hard mode.
Okay.
Basically, the idea is teaching her the resist.
A lot of innuendo here.
A lot of innuendo.
Right. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Especially,
Yep, no problem.
especially considering that Will is involved.
Right.
Yep.
it's a good bio break time.
Yeah, well, why don't we go ahead and take a quick potty break? How about that?
Yeah, and why don't you
Sure.
go grab a
That
snack,
sounds good.
Mr.
Yeah,
DM
I
man?
might just do that just refresh my brain cells, perhaps.
We do not want the game master, passing out from low blood sugar.
That would be bad.
All right. Well,
Am I the only one thinking Heaven's Gate aliens comet sitting Earth's quarters?
the only thing you're doing right now is just giving the GM ideas. So.
So don't do that. Oh,
That's okay. I was just resisting trying to go into the whole Mage the Ascension thing where like technology and magic are the same. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Let me tell you about the
Different
technocracy.
Let me tell you about paradigms.
All right, so I'm gonna take a quick breather here. We'll be back probably in
Alrighty.
about 5 minutes.
Dreamslayer Studios presents a wide selection of live tabletop role-playing game campaigns, specializing in fresh new independent games like Tales from the Loop and the Great American Novel, as well as traditional games such as the original Marvel Superheroes RPG by TSR and Savage Worlds. Our game master works hand in hand with the players to create one-of-a-kind original stories that are jam-packed with intense battles and in-depth character development that rely on creative and collaborative communal storytelling. So, if you're in the mood for something a little different than the typical Dungeons & Dragons fan, look no further than Dreamslayer Studios' RPG podcast. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you consume your live play RPGs.
All right, so let's start with a little family reunion, shall we?
Sure.
So, Spartan, you're wanting to go see good old mom and dad, right?
Yes.
So, at the time that it currently is, about between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly around 4 is when class gets out at the little school that your dad teaches at.
Yeah.
And it's not too far, a little hop, skip, and a jump away from the suites that you've been graciously given by King Azzuri to stay in while you are here. Just a couple of little blocks away is the school.
Yeah.
And do you want to catch up with him there, or do you want to meet them at home?
I'll probably go to the house.
Go to the house? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
And more than likely,
Raid the fridge, do some laundry.
with the distance that you've got to travel to get there, I mean, unless you're making a beeline to actually rush to beat Dad home, you probably would be getting there roughly around about the same time. And you see your dad walking down one of the side streets as you are approaching the gate to your home. Can you maybe give me a little description about what you imagine it to look like?
Probably the typical African home. With looks kind of made natural things, but it is more up to date.
And is it just a single home, or is it connected to like a network of others, or does it stand alone?
I'm seeing it in my mind as a single home in a courtyard. The courtyard in the middle and the houses around it.
Okay. So maybe several identical homes that are kind of centered around this courtyard.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And the courtyard is sort of a gardening space. Be flowers or whatever. Be vegetables. Some pathways, benches, things like that.
Okay. All right. Well, you are kind of standing at the gateway that kind of enters into the little courtyard there as you see your dad walking down one of the pathways towards home. And he sees you, and you know your dad is not one of heightened emotion.
Right.
So he looks up, sees you standing at the gate, doesn't pick up his pace, but he walks at his normal pace as he approaches you along the path. And when he gets close, he places his briefcase on the ground and gives the Wakandan salute, does a slight bow to you, and he gently places his arm on your shoulder.
I salute him and then hug him.
And he lets you hug him. He doesn't necessarily return.
He allows this.
He's not being cold. It's just the way that he is.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, little one, it is a pleasure to see you. How have your travels been thus far?"
They've been quite interesting.
The children were already speaking of the colorful characters that have come into our city.
Well, I'm sure they have. They are quite colorful.
How is it that you came to be a part of this
Well, I
colorful
was
bunch?
in France working with the resistance movement, and I sort of ran into them.
I see. So you are working with... This is not the French resistance. These are the Brits.
The French resistance is sort of working with the British. It's very complicated. Basically, the combatant and one against Germany.
Well, I suppose it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
How long do you anticipate to be here?
I'm not sure.
Will you be staying with your mother and I?
No, the king has given us a suite. And I think it'd be very rude to say no to him.
Well, you certainly do not want to offend His Majesty.
Yeah.
Well, come in then. I'm sure your mother will be happy to see you.
I will be very happy to see her.
And he picks up his briefcase, opens the gate, and walks towards the front door. He opens the front door, and he says, "Darling, someone here to see you." And then he kind of ushers you in as your mom screams,
Mothers.
and he closes the door and waits outside. And he lets the girls catch up for a little bit.
Safe from all that pesky emotion.
Is
Gross.
there anything here, Spartan, that while you are at home, in particular, that you wish to discuss with Mom and or Dad?
Can't think of anything.
So basically, just kind of catching up on what the real world is like out there and so forth, right?
Yeah, I told her all about the war and the Nazis and how messed up everything is.
Probably miss Wakandan technology because, like, compared to Wakanda, the rest of the world is in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think then we will switch to Mr. Arcane, Will, and Bombshell. And kind of describe to me what your plans are, what you want to do, what you wish to accomplish.
The basic idea that I had was kind of walk Shelley through how to fight off intrusions into her mind. And since there are two telepaths, have one person attempt to kind of gain access while the other while the other person's already in there telling her, no, try this, no, try this.
And the best
no,
part
try
is, yeah,
this.
and it's like you don't have to tell her because you can literally show her how it feels and what to do and just guide her and just cut all of that typical reason problem out of the way.
It's like, cut all of the Shelley needs to understand something, then it's gone.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Now,
I think I'll do the offense since
I think that makes sense.
since I don't have that actual talent. So
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You get it
Also-
from the crown. Okay.
Also, too, I think she feels more comfortable with Hank trying to break in than the Fiend.
okay, that makes sense.
So it's kind of like a safe learning environment. It's got a little bit less of the kind of factor going on.
You mean
Not that she
another
doesn't
possessing
trust
enemy?
Will, but
Yeah.
she knows there's something there also that it's just like it's
Okay.
better if that experience that she's dealing with Will is all Will and none of the powers that Will gets from the other guy.
Oh.
At least it'll feel that way, I think, without the aggressive tint to the breaking in type thing. So I have the karma necessary to do this. I don't know if you want this to take, I don't know how long we're going to be in Wakanda. So
now, I saw that you had sent me, and I can't remember if it was on Discord or through Start Playing or Facebook or whatever, but
Yeah.
that you had sent me some stuff. And I'll be honest with you, this last week has been like the gates of hell have opened up here in my own personal life. So I kind of just breezed through it real quick and then put it aside. But is that kind of what you were talking about?
Yes.
In there? Okay.
that was the plan. That is what we were doing, and I have the karma set aside to do that. It's up to you as the GM to decide how long it's going to take them to achieve.
Sure.
This.
And so is this resist domination then that you're...
It is both another level of psyche and resist domination talent.
Got it. Okay. All right, so I would say let's talk it through. Letting Dawn kind of take the lead here in basically talking Bombshell through the process of setting up, whatever psychic shields, however you want to describe it.
Right.
And then letting Mr. Arcane actually go through the process of trying to break through.
So basically, Will closes his eyes, and then there's a small black aura that forms around his head, and then the same thing kind of right in front of Shelley's eyes. And he is in her brain. There's a lot of room in here.
So spacey.
Wow. I love what you've done with the hamster on the wheel. That's excellent. Anyway.
Lots of room for activities.
All right, Shelley, can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. Okay. I want you to concentrate on the core of who you are, your identity, the thing that makes you you. I want you to picture that. Right? Do you see it? Do you feel it? Who is
Nope.
Shelley?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's look around for your psyche and see what we can find. Will kind of try to isolate her sense of self. That kind of ego and superego part of the human psyche that kind of gives you your sense of identity and that sort of thing. Okay, so there you are. Now, what's going to happen is, I want you to imagine that this version of you has a lollipop. Describe the lollipop to me.
Oh, it's one of those ones from Coney Island with the really big one with the red and the white with the swirlies.
With the swirls? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how big is it?
Oh, it's one of the it's one of the big ones, about the size of they about like your hand, like that.
Right. I want you to think about how it tastes, how it smells, how it feels to have the lollipop. The way that the paper on the stick gets a little sticky when all of it kind of runs down because it's a little bit too humid. You can see kind of the red and the green and all of the different colors kind of on your hand when you're holding it because again, it runs. Now what's going to happen is Mr. Arcane's going to come and he's going to take your lollipop.
Well, I'll try.
Right.
Okay.
What you're supposed to do is I want you to imagine something that will stop him from getting that lollipop. Something that will stop him from accessing the core of who you are and taking something away.
Okay.
Go.
Sure.
Okay. Are we ready?
Uh-huh. I'm ready.
Okay. So, now Mr. Arcane appears, because I'll use my telepathy, and he'll walk into, I guess this probably looks like Coney
The
Island.
boardwalk.
I'd have to imagine Coney Island, yeah.
Yeah, it's the boardwalk at Coney Island.
Yep.
Waves not too far off. Beach right there.
Yep. And he'll just walk over and say thank you and try and take it. First, very... I want that, though. But
nope.
You don't understand. I want it more than you.
Daddy! and that's when Bobby steps in. Hey, look! That's not an eagle. That's a big dude.
No, you don't understand. I want it more than you do. I want that.
Daddy, he's trying to take my lollipop.
Okay, so I would say, Mr. Arcane, you're going to make a roll. I assume probably using your telepathy, probably, right?
Sure.
Seems good.
And then Bombshell with your new psyche.
Okay.
You're going to roll that with resist domination, which I think gives you, a +1 column shift, is that right?
Is it 1 or 2?
Let me check.
I think it's 2. No, it's 1.
It's a very specific skill, so I was thinking
it is 1.
It's only 1, okay.
Yep. Because it gets me up to monstrous from Amazing.
Yep. It doesn't get me that far. It doesn't
Well, I
get me
rolled a
anywhere
white,
near that
so-
far.
Did you call Karma?
No, I haven't rolled yet. I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? I can only spend the minimum because I can spend a little bit more than the minimum. I've got 23.
Oh, left.
Yeah, I got 23 left after this.
All right, so you got a 37. Mr. Arcane, you got a white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I mean, truthfully, if you just want to spend 10, that'll get you.
Okay.
You did not call Karma, correct, Mr. Arcane?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Nope.
all right. So, at least she thinks that this worked really well.
Yeah.
He's not trying very hard. I mean, he's trying,
I need
Right,
you to
but
be,
this is a gentle sparring
Right.
session, right?
Mr. Arcane, I need you to be much meaner than that.
Well, this is a process.
It is.
We'll get there.
We want her to win. Good guys win. Good girls win.
We want her to win in the end. But you learn more from failure.
Well, she's had plenty of that.
Ooh. Ouch.
I mean, that's
I'm
actually
just saying.
no,
There
that's
have been
actually
issues.
fair.
I saw her ego
No
just
offense.
shrink when you said that.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, I'm
on the
not
bright
trying to
side,
be-
you guys are both witness to the fact that while she does take a hit, it's from him, so it's okay. She understands that he doesn't mean it maliciously. She
Right.
trusts him.
This is not mean-spirited. Okay, he hands it back, or no, he doesn't take it. So he's like, okay, we can try. We can keep trying. This is a process.
So the basic idea that I have is that what we're going to do is we'll start off like this, very low stakes. And we're going to keep on building until it becomes higher stakes and it feels more dangerous and more pressing. So that you understand how to gear up for when things start coming at you. And it should offer you some resistance to their ability to get in. So you're going to start with your dad is here protecting you. But next, what if Mr. Arcane isn't Mr. Arcane? What if Mr. Arcane is a dog that comes along and tries to steal your lollipop? Or you have a Coney Island hot dog. And Mr. Arcane is... You showed up as a tiger once, right?
Yeah, there's been some tiger imagery,
Well,
yeah.
And everyone knows, historically speaking, tigers love hot dogs. Famously.
Oh, right. Yeah, I heard that.
Sure, that's true, but
I'm almost positive it's not, but let's roll with it.
sure.
I mean, it's meat. I don't think they're that selective.
Yeah.
Fair.
And when you come right down to it,
Everyone-
so are you.
Right.
As
So
long
no.
as he wants hot dog more than you.
So at that point, you want something more than your dad that's going to be blocking you. So as you go, think of more and more intricate ways to stop him. When you get really good at it, in order to even access you, you're going to want them to go through some sort of labyrinth or maze that maybe you don't even know the answer to. And when he gets there, he'll find some sort of strong room or safe or military facility or something like that.
Okay. Sure.
The idea is to continuously increase the degree of difficulty for them to access who you are at your core.
Okay. Let's do it again. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, well, I'll try again.
Oh.
Oh no.
That didn't work.
This time, he doesn't exactly look like Mr. Arcane. He looks more like that kind of a tiger, like a were-tiger, right? With some of that. You've seen that tiger imagery, right? Because
Right.
I think it's
Yeah, and I think she
Hoggle?
starts off okay, and then like the tiger just looks too real in her mind. Like she's adding detail to it from her own imagination.
You're making it stronger, Shelly. Shelly, you're making it. Stop it, Shelly.
Ah! She throws the fucking hot dog.
yeah, and then he stops. All right.
You have a hot dog now.
He-
Okay. We got it. Just a do-over. I need a
He
do-over.
releases the not hot dog. There is no hot dog.
It is
It's
the
a trick
it
of
is-
the mind.
It is the platonic ideal of a hot dog for Shelley.
The platonic. It is not.
Oh my God, poor Shelly. She has no idea what anybody is saying around her. All right.
Deep breath. Focus. What is it you're going to do to stop whatever is coming for your hot dog?
I got it.
Shelley, I just need to check. Do you like hot dogs?
I do.
Okay.
Especially chili dogs.
Okay. So now you have a chili dog. And,
All right. Nobody's
and the
getting
bad
this.
and the bad guy here is going to come get your chili dog.
Nope.
And I need you to be ready for surprises and be ready for anything when the bad guy comes to get your chili dog.
Okay.
All right, I'll try it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's good. Shelley, before you do your roll, you've got a +1 column shift already. With the advice that Will is giving you, and Fiend, I saw you did roll something there. Was that?
I'm trying to make Mr. Arcane look like Chernobog.
Oh.
Okay. So, with the advice that Will is giving you, I'm going to give you an extra column shift to your roll.
Okay. So what happens is her mindscape shifts, and you're in a USO dance hall now.
Okay.
And there's a troupe of girls on stage. And Shelly's behind the troupe of girls.
Is she using sacrificial lambs? Okay, this is interesting. Didn't think she
But
had dinner.
the aspect is that in order to get through, you've got to get through the dance line.
I mean, okay.
And
I would have used a baseball bat.
Run forth and perish for me, my minions. Go!
so yeah, I've got 2 column shifts on this one. And I will go ahead and try to and spend the last of that karma probably. Okay.
5 on the
So that'd be a
roll.
55, 58 would be the most I could get.
Didn't quite get you to yellow.
Ah,
So close.
so close.
Well, I mean, that's a green on the incredible. I only got a green on the remarkable.
And so here's basically what happens. That scene shifts to the USO show, and you see Mr. Arcane once again call up that energy of the green tiger that forms around the upper portion of his head and upper shoulders. And it roars, and Shelley pulls the sword. What's your sword called again? Sorry.
The Pharaoh's Sentinel.
The Pharaoh's Sentinel. Pulls the Pharaoh's Sentinel, and you see the visage of Horus that encompasses her upper head and torso. And she resists what it is that you are serving her with that.
Oh, look at that. Horace likes chili dogs too.
Okay, so I guess
Who doesn't?
I guess Horus, and then the what'd you say? The dance line of girls.
The line of dancing girls. Can't get past those high kicks.
Yeah. But the chili dog.
And the maze is going to be a dance.
Gotcha. Having to get the girls to punch the dance card, I guess. Is that what you're getting at? Like, oh no, but no.
Or just you have to match the dance in
Oh.
order to make it through.
I thought it meant like every time you try to go somewhere, one of the girls grabs you and pulls you into a Charleston or something.
That's what I was. That's what I was
I
thinking.
mean, yeah, that's a possibility too, because that was her world for the last couple of years. So,
Well, that makes great sense, actually.
I mean, it would work way better on Hank than it would on Chernobog.
That's true.
Will
That's
just
true,
looks a
but-
little confused. He's like, bizarrely, that was very good.
But the 2 left feet.
I think I've got it, but I really have to practice. It
Well,
takes a
I'll,
lot of thinking. You have to think
Yes.
really hard.
Yes.
How do you
do.
just
have
do it? How do you just do it casually? Like you're doing it all the time, right?
all the time?
That must be awful.
Something to keep my brain busy.
I mean,
Well,
sure.
he has other issues.
And we're not even talking about the Fiend. There's so many issues.
Well, I was, but I see.
All right. Well, you guys are going through the motions of training Bombshell with her new abilities. We'll cut to Priest and Human Tank wandering about the streets of Wakanda.
This is going to be like a buddy cop movie.
It is, yeah. So the two of you
Which
guys
one is Danny Glover?
I'm getting too old for this. I think it's probably Priest.
Yeah.
Which of us is a week from retirement?
Definitely Priest.
I mean, he retires about 50 years into the future, so
Actually, out of
it's a
curiosity,
long way to go.
how old is everybody's characters? I'm just curious.
Shelly's 25.
Okay.
I would probably be about 24.
Okay.
Will would be probably in his early to mid 30s.
Okay. Cool.
I'm
right.
assuming the Spartan is about 22-ish.
Y'all a bunch of babies.
Mm-hmm.
I think Arcane's probably about in his early mid 30s, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
my character's 38, so
So yeah, you're the old guy.
he is the old guy.
The tired old man, the war-weary veteran.
Well, you and Tank are wandering about the streets of Wakanda through this tapestry of ancient tradition kind of merging with ultra modern technology. And as you're kind of walking through the streets, you kind of come across the main marketplace, and you're just greeted with like a sensory of overload of sights and sounds and smells. And the marketplace is pretty much a labyrinth of narrow, winding streets, each lined with stalls and shops displaying an array of various goods. And the buildings are made kind of from traditional materials like wood and stone, but often are enhanced by that same kind of metallic kind of look in the structures themselves, giving them a little bit of a metallic sheen. And there's colors all around, and this particular area, unlike some of the other areas that you guys kind of saw off in the distance, is just a conglomeration of vibrant colors. All of the colors of the individual tribes are represented here because this is essentially where they set up shop and sell things to one another and other passers-by. But there's plenty of textiles hanging from the shop fronts and the awnings. Brightly patterned fabrics in the hues of red, blue, yellow, green. They all catch your eye, each telling a story through their intricate designs. But there's plenty of stuff here in this marketplace to kind of hone in on. There are plenty of cultural artifacts, food stalls. There are a few spots there that have like weapon display, armor displays, rudimentary, but at least something maybe more than perhaps what some of the folks in the group might potentially have.
Were we offered any kind of garments when we were given our room, like to make us more presentable in public?
Yeah. At the foot of your beds, yes, there were some garments there that you could don to kind of help blend in a little bit. But you are very light.
Yep.
Yep.
So, well, at least I can't see the armor. I have a feeling that as far as like overriding urges to do things, I could foresee the human tank pulling us possibly towards food, since that was a big motivating factor when we first came in.
And it's been a while.
I mean, honestly, food is always kind of the answer.
You know, food and whatever they use for beer here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and
we'll try this.
I mean, I think
you know he would be interested in souvenirs. You know, just you know, any kind of little doohickey, but you know, his lifestyle currently is zooming all over the world, so it's not like he really has a good place to, you know, put anything that's, you know, bigger than, you know, that would anything bigger than would fit in the palm of his hand. Maybe a little statue or, you know, a pipe, something like that. You know, they don't have tourists here, so they probably don't have tourist tchotchkes here, but just something, you know, interesting and unique.
All right, so you're certainly able to grab, you know, some food. There's plenty to choose from here. Lots of fruits and vegetables and so forth they're easy to kind of come by. There are a few like little sit-down restaurants here and there as well.
Batman defeats Superman.
Do they take whatever? I'm guessing I probably have some GI script, a few pounds. I probably have a whole mix of small amounts of currency from the places I've been.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably got some francs, some Deutschmarks, you know, a few pounds, a few dollars, and whatever they used to pay soldiers with in World War II, which I think was usually company script that you could like spend at the quartermaster corps. So I will probably spend a little bit of time trying to figure out what I can give them. At this point, at least, coins were still made of silver. So like actual quarters or something would probably be of almost universal value, since they were genuine precious metal at the time. That'll probably end up being what I'm going to end up trading with.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's probably doable. And they actually will, if depending on who you come across, they might even kind of send you in a direction where you might be able to kind of transpose some of that money into some of their currency.
Yeah, and if anyone, you know, asks who are these weirdos in our secret nation, I can just say, look, we're here at the invitation of the king. You know, if we weren't, I'm sure some of your ladies there would have skewered us by now.
he's not wrong.
Nope.
They looked like they were in a perfect stabbing mood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're walking.
I thought that was just the regular mood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody made me shave all my hair off, I'd be mad too.
While we're walking around, I'll mention that Priest is kind of going over in his head whether he should have been more aggressive in trying to interact with Stark, whether he should have mentioned the vision that he had. He felt like it wasn't appropriate, necessary in that exact moment, and he's not sure if he made the right call. So that's something that's kind of going on in the back of his mind, but he's trying to trust in the situation to some extent. And he looks at the money that you have, Human Tank, and he says, "What is that?"
Money. They don't have money in the future?
What's it used for?
You give it to people, they give you stuff.
Bartering. We barter in the future.
No, barter is if I give you I give you a chicken and you give me, I don't know, some milk. This is like you get this whenever you do a job, and then you just give it to everyone else. I mean, how do you not have money where you come from? Did the Russians win? I mean, I know they're our allies now, but it's kind of, shaky.
No, the Russians were destroyed. They were one of the first people that Starknight took out. Their nation went completely under.
Okay, then I'm not sure how you don't have money, but yeah, it's kind of like barter.
So you take those pieces, and they have an equivalent value, and you give them to people, and they give you something else that's of an equivalent value.
Yeah, and it's different in different places, which is why we're trying to kind of figure out here what they'll take, because I don't have any Vibranium, Wakandan money, and they don't really have a lot of tourists here, so they don't have like a currency exchange. So I'm maybe hoping that it's weird and exotic enough for these people that they'll take it just because it's something new and different.
Novelty.
Novelty, yeah. Because
Okay.
really all I want is some food and maybe something to drink.
Yeah, new and different is the word.
Yeah. We obviously are foreigners here. I mean, this is more foreign than any other place I've been.
I'm interested. Could you show me how this works? Like, I'm gonna watch you interact with this. I just want to see this in action.
I will go to a fruit stand if there is one, and I will say, "Hi, I'm a guest of the king, and I was really hoping to have some fruit." That I point to something on the table that looks vaguely fruit-like. That looks really good. I hold out a handful of money. I got all this stuff. Can you tell me what it might be worth in your money? Because I don't know the current conversion rates.
There's a female vendor here that you're dealing with. And she takes a look at everything that you have and just kind of grabs it out of your hand and kind of sets it on the little table that she has kind of in front of her, and then starts kind of just sorting it out in different directions. And she's very good at determining, what's Deutschmarks, what's francs, what's pence, and all of that. And she sorts all of that out. And she says, "You are a world traveler, yes?"
Yes. Mostly we're kind of trying to stop the war, and we go on lots of places to do that. And I pick up stuff, and here I am, and I'm hoping to pick up some stuff here, but mostly just something to eat right now.
What is your pleasure?
I will point to something that looks hair-like, I think. Hairs sound good.
This I can make for you. A little bit.
Okay.
If I add a little bit of beef to it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that sounds very good.
And with what you kind of pulled out of your pocket and put there, she says, "For this, I can make it for you. It is grilled berrowums."
I'll try anything once.
This is a mix of South African sausages, pears, mixed with beef and spices.
Yep, you had me at beef.
Singing the song of his people.
And she turns around to this little kind of pit of fire that she has kind of behind her that has like a little grill over top of it, and begins to kind of mix up all of the fixins there, and then it takes about 10 minutes or so, and then she puts enough for 2 plates out for you and for Priest.
So that's how it works. I turn to Priest.
Priest looks at the dish and he just kind of sniffs it and picks up whatever the utensils are that are offered to them. Takes and stabs it down into a piece of the beef. Like,
And that was when Priest started crying.
Quite possibly the most succulent and flavorful bit of food that you have ever put in your mouth. You get some of the meat mixed with the pear, and it just melts almost in your mouth.
Holy shit, this is so much better than rat.
Rat? This
I
is a
look
rat
at
burger?
him. I look at him like, you eat rats in the future?
Beggars can't be choosers, man. He starts just wolfing down this stuff. So, this is a little spicy. Actually, no, he doesn't say that. I don't think he would know what spice is. Yeah, never mind. This is hot.
It's hot, and it's not like temperature hot. I mean, it is temperature warm.
It's hot and sweet.
It's
oh
hot,
man,
but,
I can taste it.
But yeah, it is definitely it's got a little wang to it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
And the
Tastes
two
It does, right?
the two of you guys are
You know,
basically just
I had Subway for dinner here in real life, and you're making me really hungry now.
Yep. Be right back. Going to Africa.
well, I just made that up based on the one ingredient that you gave me, but trust me, you don't want me to actually fix that for you because I will probably burn it. So
Having had real African food in Africa, yes.
We have an Ethiopian place
do you?
here.
yeah.
That's really good. Yeah,
I've never had. I gotta try it sometime.
it's very
you gotta
good.
Go.
Oh God, it's good.
Oh yeah.
Well,
There are a couple,
as the
there are a
two
couple Ethiopian places around here. Very flavorful.
as the two of you guys are enjoying your meal and basically just standing there in front of this outdoor eatery, just shoveling food in your mouths, you two and everybody else in their various places where you happen to be in Wakanda feel a rumbling in the ground.
I will carefully put my meal down so I don't spill it everywhere because it's way too good to waste. Look at the shopkeeper. Do you have earthquakes here? Is this normal?
No, what is it? And you feel that rumble begin to kind of peak a little bit more, and you now are becoming aware of, in the marketplace, some of the structures that have stuff hanging from them are now beginning to sway back and forth.
Shit. I'm gonna turn to the shopkeeper again and say, okay, what I'm about to do is gonna seem a little scary, but trust me, I'm doing it because I'll be able to help a lot more if things get worse. And I tank on.
And from your various vantage points here across Wakanda, your attention is now kind of drawn towards the center of town, not too far from where the King's Palace is located. And you now see something taking form right across from the big Panther Palace, and it is almost as tall as the Panther Palace. It is
Oh
this
boy.
gigantic green, leathery, scaly looking creature that looks like this.
You know, you never turn
Yeah.
Howard loose in a lab. I'm telling you, never turn Howard loose in a lab.
And
The image just switched to high evolutionary.
yes, riding on its back is
Makes
a
me so sad.
purple individual, very tiny in relation to this gigantic creature. But he is riding it, and he looks to be holding reins as he is riding the back of this giant creature. And you hear almost as though he is speaking through a megaphone that says, "People of Wakanda, I, the High Evolutionary, Lord of Wondagore, am here to reclaim the items that are rightfully mine. I And my knights of Wundagore mean you nor your king any harm. Return to me what is mine, and we will take our leave. The Dropa Stones are a part of a collection that must be returned from whence they came. You have 15 minutes to bring me the stones, or we shall lay waste to this kingdom and take back that which is ours.
He sounds like he's from the British Museum.
He does.
Wow.
And I think since we're so close to time, that'll probably be our cliffhanger for next time.